Hi, this is Abdulaziz Khan, and this is the series of video on some financial terms related to telecom operations. So basically, I had started this series of video with the discussion on ARPU, and now we are discussing the per bit cost of data. That if you are using data, then how this per bit cost should be calculated and what is the significance of it. So we were talking about its fragility, like we had talked about the fragility of ARPU. So here we will talk about the fragility of cost of data. So there could be three kind of cost. I mean, the cost of data, if you see the trend in a organization, an operator or a country, you can see that either the cost per bit should be increasing or it should be constant or it should be decreasing. So simple for an operator, even for a customer, the decreasing cost is a better cost. So the cost in itself, it can have three kind of trends, but still the trends may be a bit uh, confusing or maybe a bit deceiving. So for example, if we have an increasing cost, so if you see the increasing cost as we look at the formula as well, the formula is that you take the actual total cost of the operation of the company and you divide it by the number of bits that has been provided to the customer. So there may be sometimes that even though your user requirement is increasing, I mean you have an increasing user trend of data usage. So increasing trend should bring the cost down, but you have an increasing operational cost as well. So in this way you will have an increasing cost, which is okay, not very much bad. I mean, increasing cost is generally bad. You should try to avoid this as much as possible. But as your usage is increasing, your users are using more data, at least you can get something out of this market. So, but for example, you can have a very different kind of scenario. For example, you have a decreasing user bandwidth is decreasing, and your operational cost is also decreasing, but the overall impact per bit is still on the increasing side. So this is a place where you should look into the reason that for you the main problem here is why the user bandwidth requirement is decreasing, even though your operational costs are in control. I mean, you're controlling the cost, your costs are decreasing, but your users are not, maybe your users are not getting the benefits of it, or maybe some other reason. So why your users are using less data even though your costs are going down, and then you may have a really bad impact. I mean that your user are leaving, or maybe they are using your data on a declining side, and your operational costs are increasing. If you are in the, you can say, the worst kind of scenario, I mean your cost is increasing, and as your users are leaving or using less and less data, so very soon your cost will become even higher than your revenue. I mean, so this is, you can say, the real red alarm for you, that okay, you should take some real thing. I mean, you should take some real steps to avoid this situation. So now let's go to the constant cost scenario. So the first scenario should be almost the same. I mean, you have increasing users, you have an increasing operational cost, and your average cost, I mean, your cost per bit is a constant trend. So, okay, this is not good, not bad. I mean, you should try to still see, you should try to do something better. I mean, that either you do something to reduce your operational cost so that you become more profitable, but it's not, I mean, not bad. I mean, you are in a, you're not in a bad shape at least. But for example, your usage, the users are not increasing their usage, your cost is also in control. I mean, you're not increasing the cost, but you know, if the users, what I have seen, I mean, and I discussed this many time, because if your users become stagnant at any time, then it is very much, you can say that it's the yellow alarm for you. I mean, that you are in a some kind of, not sooner, maybe later, but you will go in a bad shape, because it's a very simple understanding as well, that for example, once your user, they reach this stagnancy level, they then, in a normal condition, they should go down. I mean, if you don't do something practical for them, then they may go down. So this is a kind of alarm for you, that okay, your users are on a stagnant position, so you should do something for them. And this, for example, if you have a decreasing user bandwidth, so even though you have a decreasing operational cost as well, but your trend is constant, so this is an area where you can easily play. I mean, you can, like for example, you have a decreasing operational cost, so the best thing is that you should provide some kind of relief to your users. I mean, because as your own costs are going down, so give them some kind of benefit, so that they stay with you, and they increase, you should try to increase their loyalty in some or the other way. Otherwise, it's, if you have a constant, even if you have a constant cost, but this is the worst kind of scenario in a constant cost, that okay, you have a constant cost, but still this is not good, because your users are reducing their usage of your network. So the decreasing cost, from the name, we feel that decreasing cost is something very good. I mean, I have, that's why I put it as green as well. That if you have a decreasing cost trend, then it means that your control on your network is good. I mean, you're reducing your cost. But still, for a decreasing cost, again we have three scenarios. One is that you have a increasing user requirement, and you have an increasing operational cost, but still your overall cost uh, per bit is decreasing. So it means that your users are increasing with a high rate, and your operational cost is increasing with a bit lower rate. So here you can control this increasing operational cost. Try to either bring it to a constant level. Even if you bring it to a constant level, the difference should be better. I mean, because your users are increasing. So, but it's still, you are not in a bad shape, and you are in a much better shape. I mean, that things are more in your control. So the best is that your users are increasing their usage, and your operational cost is decreasing. So you are in the best type of scenario. I mean, that okay, your user are increasing, your operational cost is increasing, so it means that you are making a good money, and you can build on it. I mean, this is the best scenario that you can have in all of these nine scenarios. So there is one, you can say, a bit bad scenario in decreasing cost as well. That for example, you have a decreasing operational cost, but you have a decreasing user bandwidth as well. So here we can see again that it means that the decreasing user bandwidth is with a lower rate, and decreasing operational cost is with a high rate. I mean, your operational cost is decreasing on a higher rate. So it means that you have, again, this is a place where you can do something for your users. You have a good decreasing operational cost, so you should put some part of it to bring your users back to your network, because otherwise, once the user, they started leaving something, like for example, like we say that once a ship is going to uh, once a ship is going to sink, the rats, they start jumping off, and they start finding some better place for them. So it's not a very good thing for operator as well. I mean, if you see that the people are starting leaving you, then it's a kind of signal for you that something is going wrong. And even though the trend is good, I mean, if you see just a trend that okay, I have a decreasing cost trend, but you know that this part, if you have a decreasing cost trend, but your users are also reducing their usage, then it's still a big alarm for you, and you should take care of this thing as fast as possible. So I hope this fragility of cost per bit should be a good understanding for you. If you have any question, if you need to know, or there is some part where I was not very much clear to you, then you can give a comment, and I can make another video if required, or maybe I can reply your concern. So see you in the next video. Goodbye.